There, there will be no wish fulfillment. Coming out in this first row with this star in the reverse, that speaks of no wish fulfillment. And then it's probably also going to be dealing with um, someone being single and self-sufficient. No wish fulfillment to someone's singleness and self-sufficient on this thief. This thief is coming out as no wish fulfillment. And there will be no positive beginnings for this thief. And this thief is in the reverse. So that does let me know that they were not able to take something. We also got the clergyman coming out in the reverse, which lets me know that there was no positive beginnings. This thief was not able to take something regarding someone's self-sufficiency, something that would make someone self-sufficient. This thief that comes out as this clergyman in the reverse was not able to take someone's wish fulfillment, or they didn't even have any wish fulfillment. That's going to go both ways, because whenever you see this thief card, it just lets you know that that was an attempt to take someone's self-sufficiency away, because that Nine of Pentacles does speak of self-sufficiency. And so it looks like the topping of this read is that there was no wish fulfillment upon this clergyman thief. This clergyman is showing up as a thief that was not able to attain something that he tried to take. And there were no prosperous beginnings with this card coming out in the reverse. The prosperous card comes out in the reverse on this wish fulfillment. And this clergyman thief, this clergyman did not gain any prosperous beginnings on something that he tried to take. And this something that he did try to take was dealing with someone's self-sufficiency. So it also coming out, we have the Five of Swords, which has the message of call my attorney, and that is in the reverse. And that Five of Swords speaks of someone winning at all costs, and someone's attempt to win at all costs. They did not have any success with those attempts. Instead, they ended up having to call an attorney. Regarding this Two of Pentacles, which speaks of someone trying to juggle a situation, a couple of situations. And then in their attempts to juggle something that they actually may have even tried, it was an attempted murder that they were juggling, because this guy is actually coming, he's attacking another guy. He's cloaked in like a hooded shirt or some kind of covering, and then he's got a knife in his hand. He's trying to take this guy out. He's trying to juggle money also. He's probably juggling money, something that he was trying to win at all costs. But there was no wish fulfillment to these attempts to win at all costs. Because you see, we have the Visit card coming out in the reverse upon this clergyman. There was a visit in the reverse. And then we get the Passion Ignited, which is probably dealing with the Ace of Wands. Whenever you're talking about the traditional tarot, that Passion Ignited is dealing with that. And then we see the Imprisonment card also coming out, which may have something to do with whatever this clergyman did try to take. And it would probably make someone give someone prosperous beginnings, whatever they did try to take. And it has something to do with your self-sufficiency, you being single and self-sufficient, alone, And that's conflict. This Five of Swords winning at all costs, and conflict. And it speaks of a visit, so maybe this visit didn't happen because this does come out in the reverse. And we are talking about, it looks like some kind of attack, some kind of physical attack regarding these pinnacles. Someone may have been attacked or maybe planning an attack when we see this visit card. Someone may be planning to attack someone, to win at all costs because they're losing and they want to win. So they're going to come in with in attack mode so that they can win it off. They can flip that five of swords into the upright because right now it's in the reverse. And whatever they did, try to take this clergyman that's trying to win at all costs, and instead he ends up having to contact an attorney about this because probably, he may be trying to plan an attack on you. Some kind of physical violence and then he's going to try to cloak himself, and not be seen when it comes to this card here and this five of swords. Both of these two cards are treacherous. They got knives in them. The five of swords got 5 knives. And then this guy is holding a knife. And then it got this visit. So in this visit's in the reverse. So maybe they were planning an attack. And maybe they haven't even, carried it out yet. It's going to lead to imprisonment. Whatever type of attack plans or winning at all cost plans, wish fulfillment, and upon this thief and this clergyman and this prosperity that never did begin. Because, see, we got this prison card coming out. So maybe someone did their actions ended up putting them in jail. Whatever passionate ignited that they did have or, invest upon. But this is really, kind of concerning to see that maybe someone may be planning an attack on an individual in an attempt to win at all costs. They want to try to plan an attack. And they're going to try to make a visit, Or maybe they haven't made this visit, or like I said, it's planned. It hasn't even happened yet, this visit. Because, see, then we get the Ace of Cups coming out in this third row, which does give the message of diffuse the situation. The Ace of Cups also speaks of brand new beginnings in love, like a love offer. Maybe a part of this planned attack and this visit that hasn't happened yet. And that's going to actually lead someone to prison. And these attacks are dealing with swords and knives. So this is going to be, some kind of violence. And because you can clearly see this guy is being attacked. And that's what that five of swords speaks of, conflict. And then, someone winning at all costs. When you're talking about a battle, some type of physical conflict goes on in that five of swords because it does leave some people, lost and injured in that card in the traditional tarot deck. Because, see, we do get the 7 of wands also coming out in that third row, which, it speaks of something value. That guy is holding like a precious stone in his hands, and it has everyone around astonished and even at amazement. And it looks like, there's some spell work that's also being depicted in that 7 of wands card that you are being protected from. And this Ace of Cups, it's probably a fake offer, to try to pretend to diffuse the situation. That's what they want to try to say. But they're actually planning an attack that's going to lead them to imprisonment, because they want to win at all costs. And because they actually they've been trying to take something. This clergyman, he's been trying to take something that he's not been able to take because there has not been any passionate beginnings. He wasn't able to create a passionate beginning by taking your self-sufficiency away, by taking your wish fulfillment away also. They've been doing this spell work to attain this item of value, something very valuable that they, pretend they want to bring in an Ace of Cups and diffuse the situation. And they actually want to show up as a lover, because we get this in the reverse. This guy's in the reverse. So he's not going to be any good at all, you know, with his motives, and his intentions are not in the upright from this Ace of Cups, and the situation that he wants to try to put on a face that he's going to diffuse the situation. And see, because we got this courthouse card coming out right in that third row, right on top of that Ace of Cups. And probably, they maybe got some news from the court that put them in heartache and loss, because we also get that card coming out right with the courthouse. They did experience some type of heartache and loss at this courthouse. It's clear, the message is very clear in the way that these cards are being laid out, and that the way that they're speaking. Sometimes when you shuffle them, you be like, dang, how am I going to read this? How am I going to read that? Because they just don't look, readable at first, until you just get them all lined up and you start one by one, dissecting each card by card, one by one, in each row. It just tells a whole story about whatever heartache they did experience at this courthouse regarding something that they did try to take. And it's regarding a clergyman, some kind of group leader, cult leader, or even a pastor or a priest, some man of God, that he represents himself as a man of God, but he's actually a thief. And he did not get no wish fulfillment, and he was also trying to prevent you from any wish fulfillment and from being single and sufficient, self-sufficient at that. And like I said, he actually wants to attack you on this visit. He's planning an attack, and he's planning a visit because they experienced some heartache and loss at this courthouse. This read is shocking me, because I didn't have any idea that it was going to be so violent, and that it was going to be so weird. It's actually weird. Sometimes you don't know what you're going to be reading on whenever you lay these out, because we do also get the Strength card coming out in that fourth row, which does speak of harassment. And so that does let me know that this lover is a little off his rocker, if you want to ask me. And it's almost scary, because I just pray that, all is well for myself and my daughter, when I got this attack, this planned visit. And because someone wants to win at all costs, because they actually experienced a loss or a heartbreak at this courthouse. And it's even regarding, they just want to bring in a cup of love and show up as a lover in the reverse, which means no, he's not no lover. He's not a friend, a lover, or nothing else, because he's been doing spell work to try to attain this gift, this precious thing that's regarding this court. There's something precious, that's at stake in this courthouse that they've been doing spell work on. They've been trying to do everything. They're trying to steal something. And they're doing all things that they have in their power to attain this precious and rare object that they've got in their hand. He's got it in his hand. And I don't think that he was able to get this lover, because if he did get it successfully, then he wouldn't have to show up with swords to try to attack someone. And if he did get it, then he wouldn't even have this imprisonment card coming out. because we do also have the falseness card coming out in the reverse, which tells me that he's going to try to put on a face, a happy face, and you're going to need strength in this situation. And this may be discussing, some type of real type of stalker or some real issue with someone's mental, just to come bring this love in and pretend to diffuse a situation that they've been trying to attain this precious thing. And when you're talking about today's world and today's day and age, the precious object is obviously going to be some financial object. And it may be even regarding some type of like house or property, because we do got this house card coming out in the fourth row right with the harassment. And then we got the wisdom card coming out also with the house card. And then we get the page of pentacles, which, he's actually lost interest in something regarding this house, because this falseness shows a house, but it is in the reverse. So you're going to have to be aware, and you're going to have to be wise when it comes to this house situation. We got two houses coming out, even though one of them is showing up as the falseness card. Someone had to be false to try to actually attain a house. And they were using their wisdom, or maybe, someone seen something. That wisdom card kind of reminds me of the Hierophant. Wait, no, what's the guys that comes out with that lantern? I think that is the Hierophant that shines the light. That's what this wisdom card reminds me of, as the Hierophant. Maybe some light has been shown on some things when it comes to this house. Someone has been given some wisdom and some information about this house coming out twice in this fourth row. And someone did get some bad news, because that's also what that page in the reverse can depict. A loss of interest and some bad news. You're going to need your strength, because, they may be planning an attack, and you may have to use your wisdom. And maybe you need to actually come out of some kind of a house because of this planned attack. And also because there's falseness that shows up in the read. But see, it's in the reverse. So someone's going to show up with this message, and it may not be false. Maybe this message is going to be true. And it's going to require your strength to get this message that's coming in about this house. Because in our last row, we do get the card of loss, which in the reverse, it speaks of a gain also. So maybe there was something that was gained, and it was actually worked upon by many people, because we get the solitude in the reverse. So that speaks of more than one person to me. And then we get the sudden wealth in the reverse, when we're dealing with this precious stone that we saw come out right here. This is the sudden wealth right here. That object that they see, that's a rare, pretty precious, diamond or something like that. They did experience heartache and loss when it comes to this financial success or this sudden wealth. This is the card I was talking about. It came out in the reverse. So they did not get any sudden wealth. Something that they worked on with others, and something that they were trying to gain. And then, we get this breadcrumb card in the reverse, which, it speaks of abundance if it's in the reverse. because that's crumbs coming out. But when you reverse that, it does give it a different value. It gives the card a different value. And then we also, in the very last row, we get the, I thought we got this lover already. Is this another lover? Or no, that was with this other card. This card goes here. But there was something gained. They did gain something. This Knight of Cups comes out here in the last row. He's showing up as a vampire, which this speaks of issues of blood, Maybe this vampire, this Knight of Cups guy, maybe he went, he's an opportunistic type of person. And he's actually going to gain something if he can actually come in and cipher your energy, Something is abundant, a gain, and then the Six of Pentacles in the reverse. That speaks of a lot, a gain of sudden wealth. But this keeps coming out in the reverse. I mean, it doesn't do it repeatedly, but I'm just saying it hasn't changed its actual definition in this read. It's coming out in the reverse. Whatever was being distributed, is coming out in the reverse. Maybe this vampire clergyman type of guy that wants to attack somebody over this sudden wealth, and he wants to win at all costs when it comes to this sudden wealth, because he has to distribute, something to others, because we get the Solitude in the reverse in that last row. And this is the distribution card, because he's actually passing out stuff amongst this crowd that he didn't attain sudden wealth, so he's not going to be able to probably sustain this crowd very much. Something that does involve a gain, but it's a loss because they didn't gain anything. They didn't gain anything when it comes to this King of Cups that may be having some kind of blood issues, HIV, any kind of thing you can think of when it's dealing with this blood work. Because in today's age, vampires, they do exist, but they're different. They operate different, and they actually drain your life force, which does speak of your blood. And then his blood may be even infected when I see that vampire card coming out.